No, I missed 7 seconds by 1.5 seconds. That's okay. Good morning. Hello. Welcome. So glad you're here. If you're here, I recommend that you watch my other video, The Oppression of the Rich. Just for context, watch that one first. If you don't want to, you're trying to TLDR me, or TLDW, TLDW. You're trying to TLDW me? Well, no, I won't give you the cliff notes. Defeats the purpose. Eventually, somebody would just create a video to summarize all their other videos, and nobody would ever watch the other ones. Where's the fun in that? Billionaires are evil? Making money is evil? So I discussed this topic at length. Obviously, I talked about the oppression of the rich. But there was another video where I discussed money, getting money. I don't know, just watch them all. You'll figure it out. Anyway. I thought about this. This has actually been something I've been thinking about before AOC. Not before she existed, because probably about the same age or something. But before AOC got all popular with this fun stuff that AOC keeps saying. And yes, I'm going to talk to you as if you already know what's going on in society. This is the beginning of the year 2019. And if you don't know what's going on, or you're watching this so far in the future, you don't know, history books. Whatever. Anyway, AOC, and it's immoral for billionaires to exist. It's immoral, evil, bad. Well, before all that happened, I was reading Aristotle as I began this year with a goal, a tiny little goal, but meaningful, all the same, meaningful to me at least, of reading 20 pages a week, no less than 20 pages per week. I already read lots of information on the internet, but I wanted to read 20 paper pages from books through the course of the year, every single week. So 1,000, 20 times 50. Anyway, I was reading Aristotle, and I'm not done making my way through. It's very, very interesting. Some stuff I'm like, yeah, look at you, spot on, bro. That's how I talk to Aristotle. I don't know about you, but that's how I talk to him. And then some of the stuff I'm like, poor little guy, poor little Aristotle. He didn't think that one through all the way, did he? Poor little guy. It's a little arrogant to say stuff like that. However, I happen to believe I have just as much ability to refute the philosophies of Aristotle as I do to commend them. And being that there's only a few million people in the world smarter than myself. IQ wise, at least. I was trying to remember the number, but my memory is not perfect. It's really good. I have a pretty good memory. But as you'll see on live stream, unedited, is the kicker. No editing whatsoever. That does make a difference. You see the raw. Anyway, the mistakes, all that good stuff. Some people paint a perfect picture of themselves for entertainment value. I'm not here to entertain. I think the numbers speak for themselves in that regard. Obviously, I'm not entertaining very many people at all. Let's get to the subject at hand. Billionaires are evil. Got to uptone the end there. I messed that one up. All right. So Aristotle was talking about how the accumulation of wealth was not a good thing, simply put. That idea fascinated me. Rather, I am still fascinated by that concept. So, I thought about this recently, as in yesterday, and I was thinking, for a company that deals in a specific market, let's think of perfect, burgers. They're easy to think about. Cheeseburgers, right? So, think of the cheeseburger. Let's think about this. Let's think this through. We're going to talk about burgers for the next 30 minutes, okay? Maybe. We'll see. All right. So you're a burger shack. You literally opened up your burger place on the side of the road. Let's say you got your permit, everything. Let's for sake of argument and time, of course, let's assume that this burger establishment is going through all of the linear licensing and certification needs as they expand. Okay, let's assume that this business remains legally allowed, legally compliant. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, they remain legally compliant the whole way through. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Just amazing. Just amazing. So, they open up their burger shack. And obviously, companies have to find a way to get a competitive edge. So, this burger company has a mission statement. The mission statement of this company is to craft, assemble, cook, and don the most beautifully wonderful. Listen, you're gonna have to chill out. Ain't gonna intimidate me. I don't care how big your truck is. I don't think you want to replace that 11-year-old truck. Whatever. Anyway, whatever. Burgers. Cheeseburgers. So their mission statement is to simplify it here, the best burger Okay, we'll just stop there. Making some of this up as I go, as always. So their mission statement is to make the best burger. Their mission statement does not include how many customers they're wanting to serve, or how much of the market they want to absorb or consume, or whatever the proper word is in that context. They are only initially concerned with making the best burger. Their slogan is, "We have the best burger." That's their slogan. We have the best burger, and that's not a great slogan, but it's just a story. Okay, it's not meant to be perfect. So, burger company. To start with, let's say they sell one burger to one person every day, and let's say, I don't know what the ratio of people to buying burgers daily would be, but let's say let's just stick with America for now. We'll keep it easy. I understand. So let's say 1 in 6 people buys a burger every day. I don't know if that's super high. I don't think it's super low, but it could be still super high. But we'll just go with that just to say easy math. So let's round off the population to 360 million. Let's say that that means that 60 million people buy a burger every day in America. Hypothetically, we'll just go with this math. So this is one person out of 60 million, 1/60 millionth market share of the burger market. This is only to paint a picture. I'm trying to get you to see a concept via, what the heck? Like, do people not believe in lands anymore? They're part of objective reality. There's 2 lines, you just stay in between them. I said this the other day. I just don't understand people. It's so confusing. All right, 1/60 millionth market share. You follow? I hope so. That's tiny. We can all admit that 1/60 millionth of the market is tiny. Especially in regards to burgers. If you had 1/60 millionth of the market share for selling, I don't know. Oh gosh, I feel like 1/60 millionth of anything. I don't know. Cruise liners, like the ships themselves, but that would require 60 million, and I don't think that there are that many. I just don't. Yeah, that'd be like, I sell the smokestacks of 1/100,000th of the cruise ships, and that would be 1/60 millionth. 1/60 millionth, guys, is a tiny share. So this one dude selling this one burger to this one person daily. His share's 160 millionth. All right, so dude's doing well with this one burger sell, and it rhymes, so it's all good. All right, so he expands. Years go by. He started selling lots more burgers, obviously. Now he's got 300 burger shops, shacks, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not relevant to the argument. He's got 300 of these in every state. Okay, so he's got 15,000 burger shacks nationwide. 15,000. Now, I'm no walking encyclopedia, except when I am. I don't know how many McDonald's there are, or Burger Kings, or Wendy's, or Five Guys, or In-N-Outs, or Jack in the Boxes, Cookout. I don't know how many of those there are. There's a lot. But let's just hypothetically say that 100 per state gives this man a 10%, hypothetically, let's say it gives this man now has a 10% market share. So let's just say that based on our previous example, that now amounts to 6 million burgers every day. Okay. Now the math on 15,000, that'd be what is that? 4,000 or 40,000? It's 40,000. That's a little absurd. Give me a second. Yeah. 4,000 burgers per store. Is that reasonable? It's a lot. I'm thinking back to lattes and like 900 customers. That wasn't 900 beverages though, because some people would get 5. Say the average order was like probably 1.8 or something. So 1,800 lattes versus 4,000 burgers. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot. Maybe on the level of absurdity. It's okay. Let's just go with it. We'll just go with it. It's not about production capabilities. That's not the purpose of the argument. The numbers aren't very relevant. It's all about, the purpose of my argument is about percentages here anyway. Okay, the details are not really super relevant. We're just talking about big ideas. I took a vitamin on an empty stomach this morning. It is, it's not treating me very well. That's rough. Ooh. All right. So, burgers, 10%. So his mission statement's still to create the best burger. But he has board meetings now. Say it's publicly traded or whatever. Doesn't matter. Here's my point. This is a really contrived story just to get to a simple point. Where does this guy have to get to in order to know he's arrived? What is the ultimate goal? What is his ultimate goal? Is 10% market share, amazing, wonderful, lovely, and adequate, sufficient? Is it over? You got 10% market share. Is that it? Is that what you do? You say, I like 10. 10's a nice number. I'm going to stick with 10, okay? And I'm going to do my best to always maintain 10% market share. I'm a generous guy. Okay? What do you do? So, yeah, it's a rough morning, guys. I don't know what in the world. What do you do? What if demand just continues to increase? And yeah, describe with 4,000 burgers, it's kind of extreme. It just can't keep up. So he has to keep building more. The demand is there. So he just keeps on supply. Okay. It just occurred to me. There are limiting factors. Okay? There are limiting factors. This isn't a service. There's always a limit. Don't get me wrong. There is always a limit. Your limit at the, like, for anybody out there who's ever worked for a company that said unlimited income potential, that's a blatant lie. And they're like, well, it's figuratively true because, no, it's not, no. Unlimited. Nothing. Yeah, let me finish that sentence. Nothing within our human capabilities is unlimited. There is nothing within our own power that we can cause to be unlimited. There are limits. We live in a limited world, a limited universe. Possibly. Our access to the universe is absolutely limited. It just is. Especially when you think individually. No one person could visit all the stars. It's not practical. Even if you were to devote on femtosecond per star, and you had the capabilities of just going sightseeing all the stars in the universe, and you just devoted 1 femtosecond to all of the stars. Go ahead, somebody do the math. I dare you. But 1 femtosecond per star, travel time also 1 femtosecond between the stars. It's not perfect teleportation. There's travel time of a femtosecond. And you add that all up, it's not practical in a lifetime. It's just not. Do the math. Prove me wrong. All right, burgers, 10%. When do you stop? Oh no. Well, here's the thing. It just occurred to me, there are limiting factors. There's either the limiting factor of 7.5 billion customers. Let's say hypothetically, your burgers are just God's gift to earth, hypothetically, and they're just so lovely and perfect and wonderful that people are eating them 3 times a day. Your limiting factor is 22.5 billion burgers daily. That's one limiting factor. However, what's the key ingredient? Oh yeah, cow. So the main question here is, how much of a limiting factor is the cow to your ability to gain 100% market share? Well, I'd say that it's pretty drastically important, and it would really prevent you from a 22.5 billion burgers per day kind of number. It just would. So, with that said, recognizing the fact that there are limiting factors, does that prevent you from wanting to make the best burger? Well, of course not. Does that prevent you from gaining 100% market share? Possibly. Possibly. So let's say this is a service. I said we were going to talk about burgers, but there are limiting factors. Okay? I want to get to an example where the only limiting factor is indeed the population, 7.5 billion. And your service, let's call it awesome service. Okay? It's applicable to every culture, every age, every type of person, whether or not you're in a coma, because there's those people on our planet, or you're a CEO, or you're homeless. This service is applicable to every person on the planet. This service, what we're calling an awesome service. It's a pretend, hypothetical service for sake of argument. Okay? So, with this, awesome service, you gain 100% market share, and you are getting, let's just say, every person on the planet is paying you 1 US penny every single day. 1 penny every day for this service. It's an awesome service, okay? Everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. And yes, the question of affordability is there, because can a family of 7 in the Democratic Republic of Congo, aka the DRC, can everybody in Nicaragua, I say that with such a beautiful accent, I know. Just takes practice. But like a family of 9 in Nicaragua, can they afford 9 cents every day if they're only living on $1 a day, or Guatemala, whatever? Can they? Well, let's say if they have that dollar, that they really can afford it. Everybody can afford it. Let's go with that argument. So everybody can afford it. The service is both necessary, it's desirable, it is life enriching. This service is life enriching, and it's just this lovely, wonderful, fantastic thing everybody can afford. And this man has 100% market saturation. He is the service, not himself, but just what he's providing is he's the only one. Nobody else would dare compete with this monopoly. Okay, he charges a penny. Some folks, argue about the penny, but it's a penny. They argue because of the issue that we're here to talk about. Are billionaires evil? Well, this guy, 7.5 billion. You multiply that by 0.01. Okay, what you have is 75 million. $75 million every day. Are there other companies? Is there any company in the world making $75 million a day. Yeah, 300 days be 225 billion a year. Is there any companies that are making 225 billion a year? I'd say yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because they are making that, does that make them evil? Well, here's what we're getting into now. So the guy's making 75 million a day. Let's say we got the penny. We're gonna say 100%. Just think of 100%. We're thinking about the penny, and 100% of the penny is going to the company, right? And what is the company doing with the money? Well, this is a service. So let's say the only cost is labor. The only cost is labor. There's absolutely no licensing costs. There's no certification costs. I know there would be business licenses, visas, all that. Let's say that the service members, the ones providing the service, this awesome service, let's say they have to absorb those costs for sake of argument. An easy math. So let's say that he decided, this person with the awesome service decided to do a 50-50 split. 50% is his intellectual property. The ability, he retains the rights, the patent, so to speak, or the equivalency for a service patent, whatever that would be. He retains the rights to that, the IP, right? And for his 50% that he's contributing, he's training. He trains all the people that provide the service. So they get the ability to make 50% of the money, okay? They get the ability to make 50% of the money. No cost from their end. There's just time. They just perform the service and they make money. Simple as that. It's hypothetical, but just follow the logic. So he's keeping 50% for the sake of IP and his compensation for training. Well, that works out to be 37.5 million a day that this dude's raking in. So, point being, 37.5 mil, he's going to be a billionaire pretty quickly. So he'll qualify. In 10 days, it's 375. In 100 days, that's 3.75. So we're talking about 112. 112. What am I doing? $1.2 billion? Is that right? Pretty sure. Let's just go with it. This dude is raking in 1.2 billion. He's forking out 1.2 billion. I don't know the distribution. 7.5 billion people. Let's say, let's say that he's got to have, by the way, this guy would be the most amazing employer to have ever existed on planet Earth. So let's say that in a given day, one person can service, one person can service 500. So that'd be 500 into 7.5. So all you do is you divide by 2 and then take off 2 zeros. So that'd be divide by 2. We got 3.75 3.75 bill. So 37 million It's interesting. It's kind of the same. But anyway, 500. I'm pretty sure you would have 37 million employees, 38 million employees. It's a ton of employees, right, for one company. I don't know if a company exists with that many employees. I mean, I don't know. But let's just say this dude has 30. So he's giving. So, well, let's just go back to the 500. They're servicing 500 people. Based on based on that breakdown, though, that means each person's making $5 a day. Yeah, obviously it's not going to be a full-time job. $5, they're going to have to service 500 people simultaneously, and it's going to have to take them 15 minutes to service this awesome service. It's starting to kind of fall apart in my hands here as I break it down and do the math. 500 people, you're only making a penny off $5. Yeah, it sucks really bad. That's not good at all. But so let's just say everybody that works for this guy, all 38 million of these people, can make $5 by performing this service to 500 people. It takes them 10 minutes and they can make $5. It doesn't have to be, because of the time that I'm pretending like and adjusting, you know, it doesn't have to be 38 million. You know, somehow you'd have to adjust this hypothetical. This is terrible. My point is the guy evil for keeping 50%? Okay, just that's what the math's about. Is he evil for keeping half? That was a terrible example. What a shame. It doesn't matter though. If a company is profiting and the CEO is keeping 1% of the profits and 99%, let's say hypothetically, I don't know how it'd work this way mathematically, but let's just say a dude has 10 employees. He pays all the employees more than he pays them himself, which does happen in situations. Some CEOs only take $1 salary, so it happens. But let's just say that the vast profitability of this company is so extreme that the dude is a billionaire. So I guess what you're saying when you're saying that, oh, that's evil, that he's a billionaire, you're just saying that he shouldn't charge what he's charging. He should subsidize his product to reduce his income. And everybody should be operating. Basically, when you say that billionaires are evil, you're arguing that every business in the world should operate on a margin of barely sustaining your basic needs. No profitability above the sustainability of basic human needs as the standard for all businesses everywhere. That's obviously akin to the concepts of socialism. And if one entity was controlling everything, they could manage that. That's not how it works. But that gives equal value to all products and services. If you believe that billionaires are evil, then you have to operate the world in such a way that margins are the same across the board. And if margins are the same across the board, then you are valuing all products and services equally. From the dude that washes a car to the guy that saves a life through surgery, to beer manufacturer, brewery manufacturing company, to anything else, to education, to military defense, to entertainment, everybody has the exact same value. That is what you are arguing when you say billionaires are evil. So either that's true, that all things have perfectly equal value, nothing at all is worth more than the next thing, and if that is true, if all things are equally valuable, then give me your house, because you can just come live in mine that I rent, and I can own your house or your car. Let's trade cars. Um, my I have a 2006 that I'm sitting in with a check engine light. Um, let's trade cars. Give me your 2019 Honda Pilot. Make sure it's the EXL or whatever the equivalent of that is with the multimedia package. All things are the same, right? That's what has to be true if billionaires are evil. If all things are not equal, then there will be a discrepancy of a non-evenly distributed wealth. Wealth will not be evenly distributed, simply put, because value is different among different items and products and services. So what you're wanting is the redistribution of that billionaire's wealth to be more generous among his employees. To what end? To what level? Where's your line in the sand? $1 million is okay, $1 million is okay, but $1 billion is not okay. Is that it? You're putting a cap on potential wealth, regardless of context. Regardless of context. I want someone someday to argue not from an emotional standpoint, not from even a moral standpoint, but merely a logical point of view, how a system could exist with capped income across the board. Just like, you'd have to create a perfect hierarchy, which would require perfect wisdom, but you'd have to create a perfect hierarchy of value, where, let's say, 100,000 was the cap of annual income. That was anything over 100,000 is considered evil. So, what is the one and only one job that holds the value of perfect value? What is that $100,000 job? What is the job that gets paid the $1 less per year? The $99,999 job. What holds that spot? And is there more than 100,000 jobs? So will there need to be duplicating salaries? Is there 100,000 categories? Probably not 100,000 categories. So you would have to possibly just do the hierarchy based on categories and drop it by 500s or by thousands, something along those lines. But ultimately, who would be the least valuable on the planet by their efforts of providing products or services? Who would be the least valuable? Who matters least on the planet in regards to what they're providing in products or services? Who are those people? And I think some people would be like, oh, well, there's people that can't provide products or services. They can't do either of those things, and they deserve provision. That's what social welfare is, right? Interesting. If you start thinking about this stuff in a holistic way, like how there's so many components, I think you start to realize why there's so many different opinions on the subject. Anyway, it's been way too long. This will have to be continued, as most of my discussions require continuation. I can't solve the world's problems in and out.